Hey everybody, welcome back to the chat. Welcome back, hoodies. Please come on in. Make sure you hit the like button, the share button, and subscribe to the Hood Table if you're not already subscribed. And let's jump right into this review of Queen Sugar Season 5, Episode 10, the finale titled Onward. And of course, let me know what your thoughts are on this season, this finale show, the storylines, any of the characters in the comment section below. Now, this is the finale. And I must say, on a scale of 1 to 10, I really, really enjoyed it. I would say, like, it was maybe a 15, a fitting. Yeah, I would say it's a 15. We're going to jump right into it, though. Now, at the beginning of the episode, we saw how, well, actually, you know what? I'll save that. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Let's discuss Charlie and Anvi. Okay, now, during a discussion with Anvi, Charlie had asked Anvi, could she ask her something totally random, totally off the cuff, off the rip, out of the blue. She went on to ask Anvi, is there anything that Jimmy Dale could do to make her see him any differently? Y'all, did y'all see on Vibe with that sewing needle in her hand? Like as if Jimmy Dale was standing right there, she probably had pushed that thing dead in the side of his throat or in his eyeball. Vibe was like, what on earth, girl, would make you ask me some stupid shit like that? And that's literally what she said. And when Charlie was trying to search for the right words to explain, she was like, Vibe was about to flip the damn script like, girl, you better get to talking. What the hell is you talking about? You better answer me. I asked you a question, Charlie. Y'all know how Anvi is. I'm telling y'all, Anvi is one of those aunties who, even if you are full grown, like grown with your own house, your own car, your own job, house for the kids, paying your own bills and everything, she will still come over to that house with her switch or a belt and take it to your behind, okay? I don't play. So Charlie was like, she finally went on to, explain to her basically that Davis had stopped by last week to pick up something for Micah that Micah needed shipped to him. And so, Charlie, she wanted to know, being that, Davis seems different, if people can truly change. And Vi responded with saying that Jimmy Dale, he was one of a kind. He was basically like a devil who fed off of, hate and treachery. He picked on the weak, people who had a heart. Jimmy Dale was like someone who got his rocks off, inflicting pain on every single person he met, but more specifically and especially on Vi. But when it came to Davis, Vi made it very clear to Charlie that just because Davis messed up with her, he is in no way, shape, or form anywhere close to being a Jimmy Dale. Now, Davis might have made wrong decisions when it came down to Charlie, but unlike Jimmy Dale, Davis actually loved his woman. So if Charlie thinks that he has changed, to Vi, that's worth enough, for Charlie to try to be civil with him. Y'all let me know what y'all think though. Because the thing about it, Charlie, she still hasn't even told anyone at that time about her coming down with COVID, nor the real reason why Davis came to visit her. She just sat there right on the phone with Vi feeding her some bullshit. And I'm sure Vi saw right through it. I'm sure she did. But we did see like Ralph Angel and Darla, you know, in the beginning of the show, they were preparing to take Blue to live with his grandmother to attend that prestigious school up north. Up north. That's how a lot of people say it down south, not north. Up north. And from the tone that Aunt Vi had used with Charlie, I had a feeling that this all kind of stemmed from it not sitting too well with Aunt Vi that Blue was leaving. But after hearing some encouraging words from her husband Hollywood, she's starting to lighten up a little bit, at least enough to hear her husband Hollywood give her some sound words of encouragement. Basically, Hollywood, he understands the place that Aunt Vi has had in Blue's life since his birth. Everyone does. Still, yet, he also understood just how hurtful and demeaning Aunt Vi was to Ralph Angel. And I think it was when Aunt Vi called Ra a boy. She's like, boy, and then she told him, how ashamed his father would be of him. That was probably the part that really hurt Ralph Angel. And it was coming from his aunt who he truly cares and respects, cares for and respects. But even if, Aunt Vi, even if she believed that to be true, if she believed that his father would be ashamed of him, still, Hollywood suggested that you need to apologize to Ralph Angel. You hurt your nephew. So now, Hollywood, he know how strong and stubborn Vi could be, but he did tell her exactly what she needed to hear. Then, when Darla came by with a bouquet of flowers for Aunt Vi's reopening of her diner, she really knew what time it was. And even though they didn't show Aunt Vi apologizing to Ra, like that must have been like behind the scenes or something. I'm sure she did. Besides that, from the look of things, Blue is quite happy when Charlie, I'm sorry, when Darla and Ralph Angel were on Skype with him, they, were asking him, how's everything going? How do you like living at your grandma's house school? And he seemed so happy, like extremely happy. And, of course, her mother, she does have like her set of rules, you know what I'm saying? You know how older generation can be set in their ways and things like that. But he still seems to be okay, at least for now. So school is doing well. He's doing well. Seems like a happy kid, so we shall see next season. We shall see how this all goes. But besides, him looking all, quite happy and everything, that wasn't the only thing that was going right when it comes to Darla and Raw. I knew she was pregnant. Did not tell y'all. I mean, okay. I was probably wrong about Nova. And then again, we don't know yet if Nova's pregnant. We don't know yet. But as far as Darla, I knew she was pregnant. I said it from the very first episode. I said Darla looks like she's pregnant. And this time ain't no need to question. Ain't no need to question like they did with Blue if this baby is Ralph Angel's or not. And I can see it right now. Can't y'all see it? Darla doing everything in her power and her will to be there for this new baby, unlike any ways that she could have been there when Blue was younger. So I'm happy for them. I'm really, really happy for them. Now, let's discuss Charlie when she got a visit from Davis. I almost forgot his name. Okay, first of all, Charlie and Darla. Later on a phone call with Darla, Charlie had admitted to how she has come to think of Darla as one of the strongest women she has ever met. And from Charlie, that means the world to Darla. Let's not forget, y'all, how Charlie used to feel about Darla, how Charlie used to treat Darla. Charlie could not stand Darla for nothing. But Charlie did have her reasons. I mean, Darla did up and leave Blue. When she was addicted to drugs and alcohol, she really let Blue down. She let Rod down. She let their family down. So again, hearing that from Charlie meant a whole lot to Darla. And because of Charlie now seeing Darla in a different light, she felt like now she could ask Darla for advice instead of how it used to be the other way around in the past, with Darla always coming to Charlie for advice. But let me know how you feel about Darla's response. I myself really liked her response. After Charlie basically told her she was thinking about giving Davis another chance. Darla told her she would never give her advice on what to do about her man. Mind you, she said her man, even though they ain't together anymore. But basically, she was like, I'd never give you advice on relationships, because of her past experience. What she has learned, which is something I'm gonna have to use with my friends and family. She said from what she has experienced, no one really knows you or your relationship or your heart more than yourself. And neither do other people know the guy and how he feels and his heart. But she said, if you feel as if somebody in your past, no matter who it might be, has truly changed and you see a chance to have something real with him, then you just got to step out on faith. So that's my relationship to anybody who's considering going back to somebody who might have done them wrong or hurt them in the past. Step out on faith. Now, whether Charlie will step out on faith or not, I don't know. Davis did pay her another visit to check in on her. He actually wanted to, make sure that she was still on the up and up after coming down with COVID. And during their conversation at the park, he made it very clear to Charlie how she was not the reason for their breakup, nor his betrayal. And I had almost or actually forgotten how Charlie had paid off that woman who had made those rape allegations against Davis and his basketball teammates. Did y'all remember that? I totally forgot about that. But then after she spoke about that, all of a sudden, all those horrible, awful memories that she has been suppressing came out of nowhere. And the next thing you know, she was crying. He was crying. Charlie just wants to know, like, how could you have done me so wrong? She's like, how could you have hurt me the way you did? And he claims that during that time, he just hated himself. He kept talking about, something about having a monster inside of him. And for some reason, he hated himself. So he allowed that monster inside of him to basically destroy everything that was good in his life. Everything that was positive in his life, everything that was good in his life was just taken away and removed from him. But now Charlie is confused, not knowing, if he is a new man or, is this man the one who came down and sat with her and stayed with her and took care of her and fed her and nurtured her back to good health? Is this the real Davis? Y'all let me know what y'all think. He said he is. He said I changed. He said this is the real me. He's no longer like the person in his past, and that he's there for her, and that he can finally love her the way that she deserves to be loved. That is if she'll let him. So what do y'all think? Do you think she'll let him? Let me know what you think about that. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about, of course, y'all know we was getting to it. Nova and Calvin. Now, when Calvin came home later that night after Nova had visited with Andre Nixon, he knew automatically that something was up, something was bothering Nova. And after asking her what was wrong, she handed him over a folder full of documents about the beating of Andre Nixon at the hands of police officers. She then went on to tell Calvin that Andre, who was 19 years old at the time, has basically accused him and his fellow officers, the fellow men in blue, beating him until he was paralyzed. And we know in the past, Calvin had always told her he had nothing to do with it. Yeah, he was a witness, but he was young, he was a rookie, and he didn't know what to do. So he just sat there and watched while those men beat that boy till he was paralyzed. But Nova finally found out the truth. So she handed him the pamphlet, the folder, of what she found out. Then she demanded that he tell her the truth. Come out and just keep it straight with her. Keep it 100. Keep it a buck. Tell her what happened. And I could not believe his response. Calvin had the nerve to tell her that for years he had basically been forcing himself to believe that whatever happened was not real. I was like, you could have at least used the excuse of having memory suppression, having the same thing that, other people have when something bad happens to them and they suppress it in the back of their mind. This wasn't something that happened to him. It was something that he did to somebody else and put them in a wheelchair for the rest of their life. Ruined this boy's whole career in sports. I was like, are you serious? He know it happened. He ain't forgot about it. He knows exactly what happened, exactly who did what, and what part he played in it. But ever since that event, oh, I need some water. Hold on. Frog in the throat. But ever since that event, he just like, most racist cops kept it closed in his mind and close to his chest so not to be punished for it or have any of the other cops punished for it. He then went on to say that being that he was a son of a cop, the other officers said he had to prove to them that he could make it on his own. And after that, he began to reveal to Nova what exactly happened. But when he addressed the victim as a kid, Nova put him in his place real quick. She said his name is Andre. Write it down. Remember it. Take a picture of it in my Chris Tucker voice. But for real, y'all, that was just horrible what they did to Andre. They dragged him into an abandoned building where the other officers had a so-called practice run on beating innocent people. The entire time they were beating Andre, Calvin was somewhere standing in the back of them, in the cut, witnessing all those racist officers beat on that young man without doing anything, without stopping or stepping in, for that young man. Then he said that the officers forced him to prove that he was one of them. And he did. He actually claimed that he kicked the boy. But he said he only kicked him in the back like maybe twice. He was like, I barely touched him. Then he had the audacity to get defensive. Like, this boy is paralyzed for life. And he has the audacity to get defensive talking about, but it was 20 years ago. Like, how could you hold this against me? It was 20 years ago. But like Nova said, it was just like yesterday to that boy because he will never forget every swing, every blow, every kick, every stomp. But anywho, Calvin swears that he's a different person now. And I'm sure that's how a lot of cops probably feel or probably say, who violate our rights. Even if it was years and years ago, they act like it just doesn't count because it was so long ago. But we all know that some victims, they don't forget. Whether it was yesterday or 20 years ago, they don't forget. Some victims remain truly scarred for life, and sometimes not able to move on with their life. Like, I was like, how dare you? How dare you? And I'm sure Nova felt the same way. But if I was Nova, I would have thrown his ass right on out the house that second. All his shit would have been in the middle of the street. And I hope she recorded every single word he said. But, although she was pissed, she went to her candles. She sat there. She prayed to her ancestors like she has done time and time again. Prayed for peace, understanding, love, all that stuff, And she mainly was praying this time because she was ashamed of being with someone who was capable of that type of crime. Not only that, but she was also ashamed of still loving him and still wanting to protect him. But is he really a changed man as he say he is? I mean, he was really putting it on thick, wasn't he? Telling Nova that he's not the same person from the past and that he has never really been that type of person who would do something like that. But he did do something like that. But then he told her, the man that you see before me right now, that's who I really am. This is the real me. You know what I'm saying? So he was basically telling her that, it was, to me, this is what he was saying. From the way I see it, that it was basically peer pressure from the officers to join in on them beating Andre Nixon. And that now she can trust him because he's not the man that was that man that stomped Andre in his back till he was paralyzed. Again, y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. He did contact Internal Affairs, so that he could right his wrongs. I don't know if he's going to turn in all the other officers. I'm assuming he is. I'm assuming he's not going to go down by himself with his crime. So is that a sign that Nova might be able to forgive him? Is that a sign that she might even still want to be in a relationship with him? I mean, for one, if he gets convicted of this crime, he might be in prison for a very, 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 very long time. So what kind of relationship would that be? I don't know. But I couldn't tell for sure. But those tears that was falling from Nova's face when she saw Internal Affairs come to haul him off for questioning, it almost seems like it was tears of happiness from seeing how far Calvin was willing to go to prove himself to her. So I think uh, I think he now really understands, especially after everything that has been going on, all the police murders and brutality as of lately, these last few years. I think he understands. And from Nova, also being that person, the person who she is, and how strongly she feels about rights and civil rights and about her people. I think he truly understands now, and that's why he's willing to basically turn himself in. So we shall see next season what happens to Calvin and what happens to Nova. But y'all let me know. Excuse me. Let me know what y'all thought about this finale. Matter of fact, rate it for me. 1 to 10. Rate it for me. 1 to 10. How do you feel about it? Again, I gave it a 15, but that was just me. And also, don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to the Hood Table if you're not already subscribed. And stay safe. Be blessed. Always remain vigilant at all times. And don't forget to keep it hood. Bye.